Testing 1, 2. What's good? Peace and blessings. Hello. When you come into the room, you can speak. That'll be nice. Good to see you, Miss Rogers. Let the notification goes out. When the notification goes out, the blessings goes out. I want to thank everybody for converting over to the new times. The new time is at 3 o'clock. So we want to make sure that we can all line up. If you're watching on YouTube, it will be uploaded once I'm done. Corey Gillum, peace and blessings. Penelope, peace and blessings. Man, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, we got to send a message out. The message is coming. You know, this is the time of gathering for everybody that knows. And what we're gathering the things we need to be successful in the days ahead. So we want to, what's up, bro? It's my 30-year friend, real friend. You don't know what a real friend is until you have somebody that done experience you in a way that they can tell you the true ingredients of what it is that you see right now. That would be Corey Gillum. We went to school together. We lived in the same building. He knew Carrie and my brothers in their younger years. So it's amazing to grow with someone. Well, I'm not going to take too much of you guys' time. The purpose of the Rude Awakening is so that we can be empowered, right? Self-empowerment is my purpose for this broadcast right here. I'm here for personal development. I'm here for personal growth. I'm here to help individuals understand how to inspire themselves, how to keep themselves, how to encourage themselves, and how to, most importantly, stay grounded, right? So we come with the Invisible Crown Army, which is you guys. You know exactly what we here to do. We here to hold our position. What's going on, Tamiko? And one thing I wanted to say is that I was in for a rude awakening as I was studying this morning in my meditation. And me meditating, I realized that, you know, we have compromised so many different things because of the roles that we play in people's lives, as well as those we allow to play in our lives, the roles we allow them to play in our lives. And we have to reevaluate where we stand at right now as we're closing out, right? I talked to you on the Mighty Monday Meltdown, which happens in the 7 o'clock hour every Monday. I spoke to you about how a relationship comes together and how two ladies was living together and they ran into a problem. What I discovered in relationships is that we don't do a good job in screening out the relationships that we participate in. We participate in things that don't offer us anything. It's not their fault, it's actually your fault. When I encourage myself, when I learn things for myself as well as train, I come before you and I share the things that I'm doing. Natural day-to-day techniques, right? Repetition, anything that we're consistent in, we will grow in. Many of you have grew tremendously just because you show up on this feed line. How you doing, Ms. Clark? Just because we meet for leadership, just because we meet to be inspired, right? That allows us to develop and grow. I done had probably within this year 7 to 8 people confirmed that the broadcast is getting stronger and my message is becoming stronger from where I started. But in my meditation, it was brought to my attention, it's not really my message that's getting stronger. It's actually you are growing. We are growing together. The better I become, the more stronger you become. How you doing, Ms. Roper? Right? The more stronger I become, the more stronger you become. You have to get around a certain group of people in order to be inspired. If there's 4 failures that you're hanging around with, you will become the 5th one. Poverty is not financially. Poverty is a mentality. And I say these different things over and over again. You got a better chance in hanging with nobody than to be around a group of people that's going nowhere. You need a personal connection. Over the last 3 years, I taught myself relationship. I choose to believe that when I learned relationship, you learned it as well. You just didn't know what you was learning. Now that we at this point, many of you have to activate what it is that been brought into your life. Relationship is an inside job. Anything that operates in your life, you need to understand the functions of it. For many of us, we have had things in our life and we didn't know the purpose of somebody being your brother or your cousin, the purpose of the title. Anything that's created has a title, but a lot of things you did not create. So you have things that you have, but you don't know the purpose it was created for. So a lot of us stay stagnant. We stay in neutral positions and we became victim of our own circumstances. The Rude Awakening was designed to open up your eyes. Once you open up your eyes, you can start to see what's the purpose in what you're creating, not what's the purpose of what someone else is creating. A lot of the times we look at others before we look at ourselves. If you look at yourself, then you don't have to worry about anybody else that enters into your environment, because you already know that it's your job to govern the things of your life. Some people suffer from the trauma of poverty and it's just destroyed their mind. Absolutely 100%. Poverty is a mindset, but there's something in scriptures. It says, create in me, it says renew, a renewed mind. Renew, do not be transformed by the world, but by the renewing of your mind. Your mindset has to be renewed. But if you constantly carry on with the things that you have always done, then you will always get the same results. You have to renew your mind. To renew your mind can be as simply as opening up your eyes and seeing life different. We have to force ourselves to the other side, because everything you've been taught will continue to be repeated over and over and over again. And for me, I'm the one who called the time out. I called the time out and I literally unlearned everything. I started with this concept. You learn, you unlearn, you relearn. You learn, that's self-realization. You unlearn, that's self-discovery. You relearn, that's self-recovery. For many of us, we are in a self-recovery stage, and that is the renewing of the mind, right? And notice we're talking about God, right? Everything that's created was created by God, but it wasn't created by you. Your life and my life and the life we live, we're living inside of a space. Everything is being created around us. The world is not made, it's being made. How is it being made? Through relationships and communication. But for you guys, you all know that without no communication, there'll be no relationship. You will have no transformation. The start of it is relationship. But before you can get a relationship, you got to have ownership. For many of us, we haven't had relationships at all. Relationship starts with yourself. Remember Christ Jesus? Jesus said you needed to be born again. Here's your rude awakening right here. This is your rude awakening. Watch this. Write this down. This is your rude awakening. Jesus said you have to be born again. In order to inherit a birthright, you have to be in a new state of conscious thinking. To open up your eyes is how you inherit the things that life offering you. But if you study living in a space of blind, right, you can't inherit what's for you until you open your eyes and be born again with a new understanding. Now, that's the self-recovery part. That's the remember the learn, unlearn, relearn. The relearn is the self-recovery. Born again, meaning now I inherit. What's going on, Miss Silas? Now I'm about to inherit the things I need. So now when I'm building what it is I participate in, whether that's relationship, whether that's financially, whether that's anything that you might have that you can possibly think of, physically, spiritually, you're now creating what it is that you desire to participate in. Many of us, we're asking for things that requires you to be born again. Some people want peace. Some people want happiness. All those things has to be created internally. You have to go in you and through you to develop the things around you, or you will not understand it. You will not understand it because you didn't create it. None of us created the title for a cousin. We just operated as a cousin. Many of you, you never created your position or the title that was handed down to you or that was placed on you, but you never knew the description either. And that's what it means to be blind. That is the rude awakening. I'm asking everybody to take time out to just think about where you at. In order to have personal growth, you have to be able to know the purpose of the creation, the purpose of why we here. That's one of the main reasons why I wrote the book, I Am My Life Coach. I say I am my life coach at least 30 to 50 times a day, reminding myself. And the more I remind myself, the stronger I become. The stronger I become is the more aware I am about the things that's going on around me. No one can inspire you. No one can inspire you until you are able to be self-aware. Once you become self-aware, then you will know your condition, as Corey just spoke. You will know your condition. When you know your condition, you can change your condition. But for many of us, we spent a lot of time pretending and acting out these roles, and this is why we can't get the inspiration. This is why we can't be inspired by the things that's going on around us, is because we've been pretending. We've been acting like we understand what it means to be a friend, acting like we understand what it means to be in a committed and relationship with someone, acting like we have money when we really do not have a system that makes money. Anybody can have money, but do you have a system that makes money? That's the real question. Anybody can say that this is my family and my family don't do anything for me, but ask yourself, what do you do for your family? The only thing you can do for your family is to be a respectable human being. And that right there changed the whole narrative of the way people view your family. Corey asked the question. That question was, I guess somebody doesn't want me to get your message because I just keep freezing. Man, listen. You guys, this is the way that I give back. I think that it's very important. If I had to tell you one thing to put in your top 5 priorities moving forward at this point, age is maturity is not determined by your age. That's the rude awakening this morning. Maturity is determined by the point when you open up your eyes and recognize relationship needs to be on your top 3, and it starts within yourself. Keep in mind, I like to use Jesus a lot of the times, right, as a reference point, because we all have spent time studying Jesus, right? Jesus understood who he was, and he understood his purpose, right? He understood what he was, whom he was, and where he was, and his purpose. But he went and got 12 people because he understood the importance of relationship. I challenge you today to think about the relationships that you want to participate in and find out what would you bring to the relationship that you participate in. At some point, some people are serving the relationship and some people are being served by the relationship. What I discovered, many people are being served by the relationship that I actually serve. Anything that I participate in, I give my all. It doesn't matter what somebody else brings. It doesn't matter what somebody else is taking. This is between me and the relationship I have with myself. We have to do the work. It's an inside job. Let's close out gathering the things that we need for those that done already gathered, your friends, your communication, your life lessons, the things you done experience, and let's put this puzzle together so we can get some results. All that matters is you get the results, but I can guarantee you this one thing. I Am My Life Coach is ownership. The next level from ownership is relationship. You need to recognize that relationship. If people don't give you a relationship, then you do not know them. If you can't call them, if they can't call you, then they don't have a relationship. Me, I had bad credit, right? But credit wasn't financially. Credit was based on the relationship of who you can call. For many of us, some people have relationships with Discover cards. Some people have a relationship with Amex. Some people have this relationship and have credit with people. For many of us, we don't have people that we can call for financially blessings, right? That's because we have not perfected relationship. Again, ownership leads to relationship. That's what type of people that's operating in the connecting point that you have. If you have a team, you want to know what makes them worthy, what value do they bring to your team that you are on, right? And what is the objective? The objective is to win the game. The game is called life in our case. Ownership, relationship. Relationship leads to communication. You don't need the best communication. You just need someone that you can communicate with without being judged, right? Life consists of ups and downs. Every false turn in life turns into a small lesson, right? That can be converted into something called experience. For a lot of us, we have nothing but experience, but we're not doing anything with the experience that we have because we don't have the purpose of what we should be using it for. Ownership, relationship, communication leads to transformation. Transformation is you go from one point to another point. And for many of us, we are at a point of neutral, which is called at this point. And that's where self-discovery have to take place right here. Self-discovery has to take place right here. Remember, to be born again, creating me a clean heart. Clean heart, that means everything is wiped clear. You can't be upset at anything. I'm willing to bet you guys, I can change any person's life just by coming in their presence one time. I can change their financial state. I can change their spiritual state. I can change their mental state. I can change their physical state. It all starts with a relationship, and that's the relationship you bring. That's what you bring. Relationship starts with yourself. You and God, God and you, and He want to use you because He created you. I'll go more deeper into that on the Mighty Monday Meltdown. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining me in the afternoon hours for a rude awakening. People forget who you are because they're stuck being who they have always been. They're not changing. They done got comfortable with without changing. They haven't changed their position. Their position of transformation comes after communication. Many people can't have that conversation with you to even get what you need. So why not remove everything, go to God who created you, get the communication you need with yourself, but in order to get it with yourself, you need to be by yourself. You need to remove titles, you need to remove positions, you need to remove everything, and you need to start over with a clean slate. I pray and hope that your eyes will open up for this rude awakening, and in this rude awakening, you can move forward, creating the things you desire, but understanding the purpose of why you creating it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. Please make sure you share the feed. I'm going to be uploading this video to YouTube. We building as a community. I Am My Life Coach is the grounding point. That's the foundation. You can't build anything without a foundation. We need an inner concept. Make I Am My Life Coach your inner concept. And I guarantee you, the more you say it, the more your life will begin to make sense. The more you will begin to be aware, alert, and active in everything that goes on around you. Other than that, you would just be loose like a balloon in the air, just blowing whichever way the wind blows. You'll be listening to people, but what you really desiring is a relationship. The relationship starts here. It starts now. The power is in now, not in tomorrow, not in yesterday. Your hurt is in yesterday. And the reason we don't go forward into tomorrow is because we still replaying the hurt in our minds. And that's why we don't take the new steps that needs to be taken, right? So I want to thank you guys for giving me this little time. Corey, I love you so much, bro. You got my number. Let's talk. Let's figure some things out. Matter of fact, I'm doing some bigger things, and I'm doing some things in my life that that constantly requires support. Anything that you're trying to build and get bigger, you have to keep doing it every day. Ask yourself, what is you telling yourself? Are you spending more time on the negative things? I told someone today, they spending time on what they don't want. I don't want this. I don't want this to happen. And everything you say you don't want to happen is what's happening. You guys, I have discovered something that's it goes way beyond what I can give you at this present time. This is the rude awakening. I need more time in order to teach. But one thing I need you to do, I need you to trust me. Trust what I'm saying. I'm praying every day, asking God, please give me what I need so I can help the ones that need this type of teaching, that needs this type of support. I guarantee you guys, if you stay close to me and I tell you the things we need to do, I'm not asking you for anything. That's a bonus right there. I'm not asking you for anything. I just want to see your results. That's it. That's my confession to God. That's what I cried out. God, if you restore me, then you can use me, but I need results. I need people to see. I don't want to pretend, right? We spend so much time pretending. That's why we can't get the inspiration that we need. We can't get help. We can't be inspired because we pretending like we already got it. We pretending like we already there. And this is the worst time in your life. Your age, your maturity is not determined by how old you are. For many of us, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. You will die a grown man and you will die a grown woman. What am I saying to you? Maturity starts when your eyes open up and recognize you did not do your part in creating something with a purpose. What you're creating cannot be built or based off of your hurt. It cannot be based off of your bank account. It cannot be based off of what you have experienced. Many of us, we keep reliving what we have already been in. All we need to do is ground ourselves, open up our eyes, and recognize anything you want, you have to create it. Start with yourself. Self-worth is finding out what can you do to take yourself to another level. Start with yourself. What can you do to take yourself to another level? For many of us, this broadcast that I'm doing is your next level. So for all those people that told me throughout this year, I love your broadcast. I love your broadcast. I can tell you're growing. No, you're growing by the broadcast. You're growing by this broadcast, which allows you to grow with me. And that's what God was showing me today. He was showing me that people are growing, and that's all that's supposed to come from this broadcast. You supposed to grow as an individual. For some of you, you think your growing come from going to church. Your growing do not come from going to church. You go to church so you can be forgiven for your ignorance of not growing. That's why it's called a sin offering. That's why you here learning about God, because you need God, because you don't understand your life. But you can't get a life till you first rid yourself of all the other things that you have learned, that you have picked up. Many of us, I'm finna give you another rude awakening. Many of us, I'm going to talk about this more on the Mighty Monday Meltdown. Do not move. Watch this. Many of us are basically living out, as Corey stated earlier, we're living out our condition of the environment that we was birthed in. So our subconscious mind picked up the poverty mentality, and that's what makes our choices. We have poor choices. We have poor choices. We look for pleasure because we run from pain. We look for pleasure, but we're living in pain. Why are we living in pain? Because we don't know how to make a healthy choice. Jesus stated, you have to be born again. Born again is almost like the metaphor of being baptized, right, into repentance. Repentance is to know better, right? To know better, you should be able to do better. But why aren't we doing better? That's the saying. To you, when you know better, you do better. No. When you know better, you practice more in the area so you can make sure you're strong enough until the appointed time that you can do better. The more stronger you become, the better your life is. The more you continue to try to live in pleasure, run from pain. How are you running from pain when pain is already in your mind? It's in your mind. That's why you're running. You're running from something that's you created in your mind. So what am I saying? Learn self-realization, as what Corey stated earlier, recognizing that we had a poverty mentality. I don't care what we need to do, but see, we're pretending so we never can have self-realization because many people too busy trying to look good outwardly. And Jesus said, you're going to automatically still be the same person because you keep working on your outside and you spent no work on your inside. How do you get work on your inside? You need a relationship. Who did that relationship come from? What relationship did it come from? The reason why you picked up your mama or your daddy or your brother or your sister or your cousin or your family's habits and the things they taught you is because you was in a relationship, a title. So everything that's learned in your subconscious mind, you got that through a relationship with everybody except yourself. And that's what's operating in your primary right now. That's primary. You are secondary. Primary is what your family and them taught you, what those relationships you was in. You blame other people like your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whoever you was with. You blame them for your hurt and pain when actually it's the relationship you tried to have. You don't have what it takes to participate in some of the things you want because you have to change your mental condition. Learn, unlearn, self-discovery, which is what I just gave you. Self-discovery. I discovered that I really needed to wash my mind, creating me a clean heart, and renew, right? Create in me a clean heart and renew the right spirit. Today, guys, we getting the right spirit. If it ain't about you, then I don't know who is it about. This is personal. My life is personal. Every day, everything I do, anything I eat, any conversation I'm in is so personal that I cannot lose good people for my own ignorance to not know what to do with good people. For you, it's the same thing. Everything I'm saying, it's the same thing for you. I have been doing these feeds for 4 years, and all I can tell you is everyone that been on these feeds is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And we have a relationship, but the relationship is so personal that you had to say, I am my life coach to tie it together. See, many people can get on here and say, we got God. We got church people saying we got God. Demons saying we got God. Everything on earth was created by God that can talk. Every creature, anything you see, from trees to cars to everything. The world is made by 3 things: air, water, and earth. Air, water, and earth. Everything you see. I sit here and I was thinking about something and then I read something. It says the glass that was half empty, right? It's really full because half of it is full with water. The other half is filled with air. So the glass is full. The glass is full. I'm going to be going into a really, really deep teaching moving forward. I'm just deciding to do it. I didn't want to do it because I don't want to put too much on people. And then they start saying, you preaching. I am preaching now. I am preaching from my experience. That's what I'm preaching from. And that's what God created me to do. I fought it because many people use, I went to school. That's why I'm a cook. I went to school. That's why I'm a barber. I went to school. That's why I'm a doctor or a medical nurse. I went to school. That's why I'm a teacher. I didn't do those things. So I didn't feel that it was in my place to say that I'm a preacher. But the Lord visited me this morning and showed me some stuff. And he says, I preach from my experience. He the one who taught me what I learned. Now, if that's not enough to move your ass, I don't know whatever it is. I don't know what you need. Because I'm telling you something. I don't have to look for the Lord. The Lord came looking for me. He located me. But if he located me and now he's talking to you, then guess what? You done found something that you was looking for. All I ask you to do, stay committed, be open-minded. I am going to figure out a way how to drive this thing in to get us into new areas in our life personally. Personal development, personal growth, how to inspire yourself, encourage yourself, motivate yourself. But we're going to need to discover and we're going to need to recover. Recover means you reinstall now, meaning you reinstall what a relationship means. You reinstall what a marriage means. You reinstall what cousin means. You reinstall what family means. You reinstall what church means. Church do not mean you keep going here, listening to people talk about God, thinking you got God when everybody here, what makes you different? You don't even know, because you looked at as a group, not as an individual. Anything that you do has to be personal. That's why it's personal development. I made that personal development, and if God took me off this earth today, I will be happy. Yesterday, not today. Lord, I'm here now. Don't take me right now. But I created a book called I Am My Life Coach. And I posted something, and I located a picture that's one of the Invisible Crown Army person had sent the day she received her book. All I can tell you is from the time she spent that $20 on that book, it wasn't the $20. It was the believing that she needs to change herself. The Bible is not going to change you unless you become you. But it's hard to become you and read something at the same time because it never includes you. Many people take my book and they put it right next to the Bible because you always want to be present. You can't keep believing that the Bible's talking about everybody except you, because you only responds to your name. Your mind is your name. That's the only thing that's your name, is your mind. Who named you? Your parents. They gave you a name. Everything else, is totally the things that you picked up along the way. We have to get rid of all those bad habits, because the bad habits is what keeps us where we at. The only way to get rid of the bad habits is to become aware of them. And I'm not talking about drug habits. I'm not talking about sex habits. I'm not talking about bad curse words. Listen at that. We think we're going to hell because you said a word that you learned over a period of time. You're cussing. You're going to hell. And you have literally believed that you going to hell. Right? You going to hell. So if you going to hell, that means you ain't in hell. So if you're not in hell, what's the opposite of hell? You got to be in heaven. But for some of us, we ain't living in heaven because we unhappy. So which one is it? Is we going to hell and because we living in heaven, or we in hell and we want to go to heaven? Something to think about. Anything that you want to change, anything that you want is what you don't have. God already gave us what we have. We just need the instructions to know how to put it together. I can't put it together without you. You can't put it together without you. But I'm here to help you become you, so that you can be transformed, not by the world, because the world keep creating your situations. Everything that happens in the world, when they throw a party, you gonna run there. You gonna spend your money. When they go do this, you gonna run and do that. You cannot create who God created you to be with the things of the world. We base what we do off of what we see. That is not the answer. But I'm giving you the solution to a problem that we all have been victimized by. We look at the things we see, which is the world. It's New Year's Eve. We got to do this. My birthday coming up. This here happening. I'm going here. I'm going there. I'm going this. I'm doing that. He said, do not conform to the patterns. Patterns is what we grew up in, because that's what created your world you live in now. The patterns of what you think a parent should be. That's a pattern, right? Some of us, we got a pattern of lying, and we got a pattern of literally begging others. And all you really needed to do is condition your mind and bring forth what you need. But see, we don't know how to handle that. Do not conform to the patterns. All you got to do is look at patterns. Do not step in the same footprints you done stepped in already. You made these footprints. You just keep walking in them. The patterns of your mama, the patterns of your father, the patterns of your community. Black people, I'm black people, black part, right? Patterns. Do not conform to the patterns of this world. This is when you hearing Christ's voice right now. but be transformed by a new way of thinking. I am my life coach. Fuck these other patterns that's going on. I got to think about what I'm doing. Yeah, it sounds abusive. It sounds aggressive. Many people, you want the whole, you're a man of God, calm down. No, I got to get to the real people, let you understand real purpose. I preach through my life experience. I don't preach because I don't went to school to tailor somebody. I preach because I'm living in hell crying out to God. God, is this the way? God, is this the way? And when you going the wrong way so many damn times, you get frustrated. Let's be clear about that part. I got this right here, you guys. By the renewing of your mind, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renew of your mind. God created me a clean heart and renew the right spirit. The right spirit is the right attitude. The only attitude you should ever have got something to do with you. You. What do I get out of this? If I built this, then I should understand this. But for many of you, if you living in something that you did not build, then you are a passenger in somebody else's car and they taking you wherever the hell they want to. That means family, that means friends, that means business, that means whatever. You have to get out of that car and build your own. I would rather walk than get in a car and don't know where I'm going. Do you understand? I ain't let nobody in my car if I don't know who it is that's getting in this car. And if you're going to get in this car, you're going to give something up on that gas. And if you ain't got no gas money, then you ain't getting in this car. Peace and blessings, you guys. That's my time, man. I thank every last one of you. Corey, you have really blessed me by blessing my feed today, bro. And for whatever reason, God is putting us back together for something amazing. Call my phone. I need to talk to you. Peace and blessings, everybody.